I'm Peter Bowden. In this strategy session, we're looking at holiday outreach strategy, but specifically, how can we use events in the new year to encourage people to attend holiday events and services and really move into participation after the new year. Very often, we have newcomers come to holiday services. People are excited. There's newcomers, lots of people, fabulous, warmth, cheer, meaning, all these amazing things. We put in so much effort. But often I hear that people are disappointed with not as many of those people following through the following through with visiting afterwards. Now, one of the things that happens during the holidays is that people are researching congregations. They're looking for connection. They're starting to think about the new year and what are they going to do in terms of, are they going to connect with the congregation? One of the things that I talk about in my work with congregations is increasingly people research congregations online before they visit. And this includes attending holiday services. And so in this session, we're going to talk about what can you do in terms of communication about what you're doing over the holidays and beyond. So as you're doing your outreach and communication about your holiday services, etc., how can you communicate in a way that really helps people connect or feel like if they participate, they are going to connect. It's not going to be too hard. Right? So that's a real key psychological factor for people when they visit. Like, are they going to come to the holiday service? And what's next? We're going to talk about specific events that I encourage you to think about having in January. You may very likely already have these events, but we're going to talk through why it's good to have certain kind of events on your calendar when you're promoting your holiday services. And there's still time. And then I want to talk a little bit about a specific video outreach strategy that you could easily do this holiday season. And just, if you, after this session is over, I'm going to post all the notes to my website, www.peterbowden.live, on the blog. And so I'll have all the notes and some other links about video strategy. I'm working on an ebook taking the core strategies I've been working with congregations on for years now, from before the pandemic all the way through, just trying to make that accessible. So ebook on video strategy for thriving congregations, corresponding video course, like online course about video strategy, which the next enrollment period will be opening up very soon, like later this week. So let's get into really this opportunity that we have when newcomers, and we should say people who are maybe reconnecting with your congregation. We have this opportunity that the holidays really pull people in. Maybe there's nostalgia. Maybe people just love the tradition. People have hopes, wants, needs, and your congregation's offering fabulous services. Our opportunity, I think, is to really lead increasingly with the promise of connection and community. People are really struggling now. Social isolation, being busy, not having friends. The statistics around how many people have really close confidants, true friends that they can do life with. It's challenging. So what I encourage us to do is really take your holiday message and think about how do we weave in connection and community around everything you're doing. So think about what is the message that you're offering on your holidays. But I want you to really think that if you're going to have the people, newcomers, maybe people who've been away who kind of come back for that, your holiday services, if we want them to stick around, we need to prioritize connection and relationship. And that means having on the calendar specific events that are going to, like, when they're attending your service, maybe they're looking at your website in advance, looking at communications about the services, kind of the buildup of attention leading to the services that you're offering, that you're actually talking about coming for the holidays and staying for community, for reconnecting, for all the things that they aspire for, that you're working on, doing that together in community. So I would love in your communication, like if you as a leadership teams, volunteers, clergy, staff, volunteers, look at your communications for the holidays, and then also looking to the new year. How often is connection and community and the new year in there? So connection, community, new year. We really want to be weaving in those messages, those signals as we're talking about the holidays, so that when people do come, they've been thinking about it, they're primed. And I know some of you do not like doing announcements about events and whatnot around the holiday service. It's just your Christmas Eve service, say, or whatever you're offering, different traditions, tuning in. But I want you to think about, like, can you have a sheet of paper that lists all these connecting events for January? Is there one thing you can say in your opening that prioritizes and affirms and invites people into community in the new year? So really think about that. I think as I've reviewed content online, looked at Christmas Eve services, very often there's like, it's so glad we're here together. And it's almost like we make this holiday service box where we're just going to do the most beautiful thing, but not deliver on community after. So let's move into what are the kind of events that I think, if you want to help people connect after the new year, your holiday visitors, what can we offer? Now, if you're tuning in live, feel free. What do you think are the ultimate connecting events for newcomers? And also just note, if you're watching the replay, you can share questions and thoughts in the replay, and I'll reply there as well. So for me, there are certain classic things we do, seem very basic, but as I work with congregations and tune into what's happening, a lot of these have suffered over the last years, the pandemic. Number one, I love and value, in terms of ministry strategy, a great game night. So holidays and game night. Peter, are you talking game nights on holiday outreach strategy? Yes. If you're a newcomer, one of the things that's easiest to imagine is like, oh, we can have fun together. I know how to play games. I get that. So like, think about the psychological safety. Like, I'm moving into this new community. What's it gonna be like? It's like, oh, it's like a lifeline. Oh, this is a game night. I can handle that. And we can, if you have intergenerational community, game nights are awesome. If you have maybe not the age range, it's still great. And that can promote people coming who have families. And even if you don't have a great program set up for children and families, they can connect. Now, one thing that's important is people do not connect as easily on their own these days. We need to be doing more intentional connection making and facilitating of community building as we offer our ongoing events. So when you offer different events moving forward into the new year, I want you to think about, how can you add in, not like formal, like, oh, we're all going to do get to know you games, and like people might get a little bit like, that's not what I want to do, it's too much. But small things, like when you're doing a game night, and you promote it to newcomers, and they're newcomers, you look around the room and say, hey, we have a bunch of newcomers here. Maybe you've welcomed them already. They're starting to play some games. You said, hey, about halfway through, we want to offer any of you who are interested, we're going to do a little tour of the whole building. There's a tour. Talk a little about a few things. A tour can bring newcomers and other newcomers together, help them connect with each other. And that almost forms like a little newcomer class. And they help each other feel like we're doing this together. So that's a great strategy. Connect newcomers with each other. And then also, what are simple games that you can do very quickly that just help people share their story, names. I love just doing things like, hey, let's take a pause from the games and just very quickly, wherever you are, like just partner up and share the story of how you came to be here. And just little things like that can go a long, long way. All right, next. Whether or not you are looking to grow your children's program or not, or maybe you don't have one, I think it's fantastic for us to be supporting families, all congregations, and if you're looking to grow your family program, a great way to do that is to offer a family circle. So think about a small group gathering. It could be before a service, during a coffee hour that follows a service, maybe some other time during the week. I like doing it either before or after a regular your service time, because that's bringing potential newcomers like into contact with that prime time of what you do on a weekly cycle. But imagine a hot topic related to things that parents care about. So you might do a session like AI and our children's future, where you get some people in your congregation who are kind of tuning into AI, talk a little bit with them about, what are the implications for our future? Like what might parents be thinking about? But have some of your core leaders, educator, other welcome team members, have a conversation, but where you're not teaching and preaching, but you're making space for what parents' concerns, ideas are, their needs, but you're building relationships. So that could be a parent circle on really anything. But if you think about like, what do you think families are dealing with now? Offering a parent circle is a great way for new families who are coming by around the holidays to be like, oh, there's a parent circle on a hot topic. What does that communicate? One, well, it's on a hot topic that I'm interested in, so I'm curious. Two, oh, there are other parents here. There might be only just 2 families show up, 2 parents. You could have 10, you could have 20, who knows? But it kind of works no matter how many people show up, because with a small group of leaders helping to facilitate that event, you're making connections. And you might, if you have existing families in your congregation, then invite them as well. And that's a great way to connect people, newcomers, very rapidly through discussion, sharing ideas. Love it. And as we go, feel free to share other ideas in your congregation. All right, another idea. This is from the chat. New to UU class. I absolutely think offering a newcomer class is fantastic. And so I'm going through 4 right now. I think I would, if I were to go to a 5th, that would be my 5th. Whatever your newcomer offering is, whether a Unitarian Universalist, another tradition. So the next one, number 3, I think it would be fantastic. Say you have a game night, parent circle. Those can kind of be around the same time of the beginning of the month, second week, who knows. But mid-month, have in January, a small group open house. What is a small group open house? You know what an open house is. Some organizations, oh, we have an open house, and you go and there's like you can hear about different things. I'm kind of think of it like if you've ever gone to a school curriculum night, like a high school. I have a teenager. My teen is 16 now. Can you believe it? They will let you go around and talk to all different class teachers, hear about the program. What I think we should be doing as congregations is say, hey, we're doing a small group open house where maybe it's right after the service on a certain Sunday. It could be a Saturday morning. It could be an evening. You choose. But have people gather, leaders from your different group programs very quickly on an index card, like 2 minutes tops, share, this is what our such and such group is about. This is when we gather, how we gather, and why this group is meaningful to me. And maybe some of the things we hear about the value of the program from our participants. So whether it's an affinity group on a specific interest, ongoing small groups, whatever group opportunities you offer, imagine leaders, or at least a handful, maybe you only do like 5 different offerings, your ongoing small group session, a book group, some other thing, you decide. maybe not do everything, all your groups if you have many groups. But then like newcomers and people interested in connecting can come, hear very briefly about them, but then you break up and for a certain amount of time, it could be 20 minutes, half an hour, go and have a little mini group session hosted by that group's leaders. And then after that cycle, 20, 30 minutes, you can go to a different group. So imagine, hey, we have a sci-fi group that talks about spirituality and sci-fi that meets whatever this time is, but you can go to that. Then here's our ongoing small group ministry program. Here's our hiking group. What other groups do your congregations have? Drop it in the chat. There's so many groups we offer, but the thing is, I continually find that newcomers aren't sure, they're anxious, and so like anything, not all, I know that, but many just need help getting into group experiences. So by creating an opportunity where, and again, this could be right after a service on a Sunday, you're giving people access to your group leaders, you're hearing stories, and you're giving them the opportunity to gather in a circle with others and talk, share some stories, and it's actually participatory. You give them an easy, no long commitment opportunity to try that group. Potluck, number 4. Now, again, this is not rocket science, but the thing is, it's like more important than that. It's community, eating together, coming together. Like that is like classic congregational, intergenerational community offering. But many times congregations will be focusing on like the holidays, getting through the year. And when you look at what's happening right after the holidays, there isn't always a clear, intentional, strategic, connecting series of events. That sounds kind of like that. What's that book? A series of unfortunate events. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a series of very good and very helpful, meaningful, connecting events for newcomers that are intentionally designed or placed after that big holiday coming together. So does that make sense that we can offer events throughout the year, but they're not necessarily where newcomers need them. And so I think one of the biggest takeaways that I'd like you to leave with or take from this is we can be helpful and caring and supportive of newcomers, those coming to our holiday events, anything around the holidays. And then all the people, think about the people who start looking to connect around the new year, and make sure that within January that we are offering some like this foundational community events. And I think that's a good way to think about it, that like it's a foundational series of community events placed strategically because we know that's when newcomers need them. Now, I said in the game night, there are things like we can do to promote. Game nights are good for connecting people just generally, but to be able to have greeters, like somebody who kind of knows your community, who's welcoming people, and if they're newcomers who come, actually do a good job of welcoming them and helping them get connected is fantastic. Icebreakers, little quick, easy, more personal sharing icebreakers peppered throughout a game night can be fantastic. Name tags, of course. For a parent circle, same sort of thing, that to know who's new and to be able to welcome them and do introductions, brief introductions within that kind of event. For a small group open house, I think, again, that's an opportunity where you could say if there are newcomers who participate, you might have an opportunity to connect with someone from your congregation's welcome team for one of the sessions. So imagine you have a period where people talk about the groups, and you say, oh, there's going to be three, or maybe it's just 2 opportunities for people to go and try or talk with different group leaders and get a sense of what the groups are like. But there's also going to be a welcome team circle where anyone who is new who wants to talk with our welcome team can do so within that context. So you're almost like putting a little welcome table, a newcomer circle right within the context of a small group open house. I almost said sampler. Ooh, a small group sampler. And again, for a potluck, we don't want to do massive introductions at a potluck, but if you're having people sit at tables, you might do something like at a certain time, say, get people's attention and say, hey, we have some newcomers here, and also we don't all know each other. This is a great opportunity to share some stories. We want to invite those of you who are interested, maybe decide this as a table, just take a moment and share some stories about how you came to be here at congregation name. So maybe it's not you're forcing everyone to do sharing stories and journeys, but you kind of make a spark of that opportunity. So that can be fantastic. Now, let's talk video outreach strategy. Any questions before I jump in? Feel free to drop that in the chat. And again, we'll have the replay with captions, notes posted on my website, and then also in a little bit via the podcast on my website. You can access the podcast, www.peterbowden.live/podcast. So I take all the audio from live streams and share via audio so you can listen to them anywhere. All right. Now, I've been talking with congregations about video strategy for as long as we've had digital video. I actually went and studied digital film instead of going to seminary. I was already married to a minister. One minister was enough in the family. Anyhow, so imagine people who are thinking about, do I want to connect with a congregation this holiday season? And then all the people, it's not even on their radar to even think about going to congregation. That like they maybe have no community, or maybe they just haven't done that ever before. There's so many people just waiting for your invitation. So how can we do that via video? I think to stand in front of your congregation or inside your sanctuary where there's some beautiful holiday decorations up, like kind of like leading up to the service. Maybe they're up already. And to have someone on a tripod with your smartphone record a video of you as a leader. If you have a minister, it's great to be the minister. It could be someone else saying, a warm welcome that, you're so-and-so, and in this holiday season at your congregation, we're gathering and talk about your values, like what's your focus, but then say, and, we know that many of you are looking to connect in community. Congregations like ours, we are an intergenerational community in the heart of your city, that's working on A, B, and C. And in January, we have a great set of events really designed to help you connect. We're doing absolutely everything Peter said with a game night, a small group, open house, parent circle, and a potluck, followed by the newcomer event in early February. No, all right, but you just don't pretend like, don't be all strategic and like, all right, we're going to set this all up and maybe people will come. It's like, no, like this is authentic invitation. Welcome people, share your holiday message, invitation to your holiday service, and an invitation to connect authentically, because that's what they're looking for, with, or those who are, with your congregation, and let them know that there's an opportunities ready. That could be a 2-minute video that you record in hardly any time, especially if you already know what you're going to say. And I'll put a little template in our notes. But then imagine that being posted to, say, a Facebook page, any social media channels you have. And then if you're using Facebook, you can click, I want to boost that. And then you say, push that to everyone who's liked our congregation's page, whether it's 200 or 500 or 50, but so that all of our existing members and people who've connected with our page previously see that. But then you can also tell Facebook, and I love Facebook for this reason, to share it with people in our zip code who are kind of like our existing page community. So it's like, they call it a lookalike audience. So the people who kind of like and care about the things that your existing members like and care about, You can say, show my holiday invitation to everyone within 10 miles who kind of likes what we like. And then Facebook will just do that. And so you could do a $50 ad, and how many potential people could connect as a result. So I think that kind of ad strategy can pay for itself if we offer a compelling, warm welcome, a message, actually offering a real value, really speak to people's hopes, wants, needs, what they're looking for, and offer the events that are going to make it easy for them to connect. So that's kind of take the holiday opportunity. People come into your congregation, make sure we really wrap around it, just like highlight, feature, connection, community, and a clear set of offerings after the holidays. Whatever events you already have in January, if it's different from what I said, use the exact same approach, but just feature your existing events, your existing programs. Maybe it's just the enrollment period, open enrollment for your next small group series. Whatever you have, whatever you're offering of value is fantastic, but we just really feature it in a more prominent way around connection and community and starting the new year together. All right, thank you all for being here. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, email me if you're on my email list.